There you go. What do you think, Rover? Come on, Rover. Come on. Rover, I said go. Go now, Rover. Silly dog.
Red Bull gives you wings.
With a taste of white peach. The new Red Bull Summer Edition. Wings for your summer.
But also looking at the distance is another team without looking behind them.
Oh boy, this is a scary proposition. Because I'm pretty sure he was looking on the other side at Terraformer right now. AGG, they get sent on by Sentinels. And unfortunately, they thought their back was clear. No one was really watching. Now they're down as Sentinels are looking to full send.
It's the fact that Skittles was in the drone for a brief moment and Sentinels moving up, hearing it. Sentinels move up, take Skittles, now dismantle all gamers, and are going to be able to walk away with that free KP.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all gamers were keeping an eye on whatever the hell was happening over at Terraformer. There was a brief engagement over the Mythic bin that was spawning in over there. But you might have gotten the Mythic bin, but you leave yourself now stuck with two very incredibly hard chokes to push through. Fusions is holding it on the north side. Leave no witnesses as well. Basically playing off these northern chokes. Sentinels keeping their back clear though, because teams can still walk through this zone. They'll take some damage, but they can still walk back through this one. They bide their time. Ring starts closing in, and now they start establishing themselves firmly here on the eastern side of Atmo.
Zap's still trying to keep the dream alive here for AG too. Seeing if maybe they could get the res as he approaches a respawn beacon. Shopify Zainu falling low is going to be able to pop this shield bat. Bocek in MT's hand, looking fantastic. Devo too, coming in from Zainu once he pops his medkit. Koiful though, recognizes the situation. Omit holding these corners inside the building and cannot pop the Void Nexus in time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Shopify Rebellion took a little bit too long on that push. They had gotten the knock, but the res happened for Omit there. And then they were up full 3. Now here's Team Orchid moving on and moving and shooting. Citadel lose out on one. Hambino might be able to get out of here. And it looks like they'll find that Thirst, that Citadel Gaming getting cleaned up by Team Orchid, who find a small corner to play with. But Corinthians are on the other side of this fight. They've got to be careful. NRG find themselves in a fight as well. This is the Northern Choke scramble that I was talking about.
Oh yeah, and there's like 3-4 different squads here just waiting to collapse on one another as VP get eliminated. Shopify are able to respawn Koiful too. And out in the distance is Furia trying to force their way out from the zone. It was only one member left, and they find Keon. 100 Thieves now moving up, trying to take this fight. Takes the Ultra Portal right back, though, from the other side of the lip of the cliff. Koi coming in from the heavens, drops down, and immediately starts shooting, leaving his back open for Verholz to get the knock.
It was a good response. Phony now is here in the fight. He was pretty far back with that crypto, but as soon as they found that opening, they went in for that push. For Shopify Rebellion, though, they're resetting themselves. We'll see if 100 Thieves can hunt down the rest of them, and you can see why the move here was so strong. We had that ring pulling over here. Sentinels on the edges, able to find the knock onto Fusions, who are playing that choke to that north, but we'll see if they can get that res. As now NRG starting to turn the screws, but they got Orchid to their side. They've got to be careful with this push now. Timmy caught out. Hambino will be able to get him and that instant thirst. Here's Guild now trying his own hand at it, but it looks like NRG are just sending KP over towards Team Orchid.
And Hambino's cleaning everything up here for the rest of Team Orchid. Huge team fight win, and the fact that they had the evac tower to work with too, that I believe they actually took out of the death boxes of NRG. So now going to be able to utilize that for their own good, so that way they don't get circle kept by Fusion. They're going to be flying right over their heads, as well as the solo that is still left of all gamers. I believe that's still Zap, and now Team Orchid flying around on the other side, trying to find a place to land.
Yeah, this is completely blind, but it does seem like possibly they will be fine. Never mind, Luxford ends up going down, and it's a complete split by Orchid as they make their landing. We'll see if they can recover those Sentinels now moving in from the eastern edge. They do have, I believe, one member of All Gamers just outside. Most Loved right above them, zoned to their back.
Sentinels trying to get information off that Crypto Drone as Corinthians starting to take this fight off the low ground at a positional disadvantage, managing to break at least one side of that Newcastle wall, even trying to dance around the other side of the care package here too, but Wands gets isolated over to the left side. Keynes goes down alongside him. Bin with just the P20s though gets deleted, and a nice final shot with a Sentinel to be the nail in the coffin, as Sentinels now having to avoid the grenade stuck on these arrows so that way they could reposition here over to the other side, only utilizing the knockdown shield for cover.
Oh no.
Oh.
Loader gets tagged by that arc,
Again.
but he will be safe for now. Loader on the outside. Cruel Buckle pushes forward to get that knock. Sentinels are out. CTE clear out this eastern side, but the job's not done. LG are moving in for the third party. You got Orchid as a two-man to their south as well, but LG end up losing out on one. J, Cruel Buckle, CTE. I think we were right to mention them at the beginning of the show.
Oh man, Mon looked like he right there. Noct was just standing there, couldn't really do much, getting pinged from a distance with these 30-30s. And as you mentioned, from CTE, gonna be able to move up here too. Omit still in this building over to the side, looking at Team Orchid unleash. The attempt on the res as well as Team Orchid get eliminated. CTE now in that middle building over to that south side, looking at unleash by the bridge.
100 Thieves keeping their front clear now, as we have a lot of movement here on the eastern edge. Fusions were looking for an opportunity to come in and sweep through this side, but there are so many teams in the way. Fusions might just want to keep continuing to their northern side. Chase Mob getting deep into the zone, and we're able to get that port back, and with that Newcastle wall, they'll be safely up.
I want to know if Shopify were able to steal that res off of a remote res with the crypto, because they were playing so split over to that western side, as 100 Thieves are looking to cut off those two members of Shopify Rebellion, as that one member who came back from that res ship drops down, sees leave no witness. Shopify get eliminated. 5 squads now left.
Yeah, 100 Thieves have eyes on Fusion right now, but here on the south side, it's Omit versus Unleash. CTE are coming in for the third party. Full swing as a 3-man, but he's revealed Unleashed. Looks like will ultimately go down. The way CTE started off this round, but with Unleashed falling, Omit have an opportunity to try and come in for the third party, but they are so low. No one's healing up. We're now down to 4 squads, 11 players remaining. Never mind, make that 3 full squads here. Vicky, it's going to be Fusions, 100 Thieves, and CTE to close out game number 1.
And that was with CTE having to take out Omit, the other squad that they were originally tied with in the overall standings before the day started. 100 Thieves now looking on at Fusion. Which squad is going to have to engage first? Looking at this final ring, look at the different directions that all these teams are holding currently right now, with 100 Thieves making sure that Fusion feel a bit of that pressure.
Yeah, they got the scan out with that drone. I don't know if it was cleared or if it was sent back, and so they might be vulnerable. There's still plenty of time here, 20 seconds for that drone to come back up in time for them. 100 Thieves have a lot of utility to play off of, right? They've got the knuckle clusters, they've got that mother load to drop down, and they're starting to ping. They're getting itchy here, Vicky. They might try to full send it onto Fusion right now. Mother load right on top of them would keep them contained, allow CTE to find the angles onto Fusion. You can see Cruel Buckle is peeking. Dan Mantic takes a lot of damage, and there's the mother load coming out, and there's the knock.
Even with the red Evos, you can put that away. No Mythic Bin could save you here as 100 Thieves closing that gap, but this just leaves Burholes as now CTE move in for the timely matter on the third party, and right when they needed it the most, they start off the day winning game number 1.
Wow, fantastic job from CTE, and really did begin at the start of this first round. Getting that knock, I believe, a kill onto one of the Unleashed members, really whittling down the teams that would contest them there on the southern side, made it that much easier for them to try and control. Omit, though, to their credit, also helped CTE in really solidifying that spot until it came down to that late game. But CTE did a fantastic job of staying active there in the slow part of the zone, which is really odd to say, right? Because that's the slow part of the zone. That's where the ring kept pulling down towards. We didn't see as much traffic there to the south as we were expecting, but they were still constantly having to deal with so many teams rotating in, or at least peeking in to see if they could take that spot.
especially that open spot by the west side of a zone like that, where a lot of teams want to rotate from that northwestern choke that you usually see, that low to high ground disparity. As we take a look at match one results, CTE not only take that dub, but they take it with 12 KP to start off their day. 100 Thieves even behind them with 7 KP. Nice KP all the way around, even looking at Omit, who were able to secure 2 KP, but that was with them doing a very early rotate from Hazmat Tunnel.
Yeah, that's going to be super important, though, taking a look at both of those teams, right? CTE and OMID, because you have, what is that, a 17-point swing now between these two teams that started off this match tied with 38 in the overall standings. So this is a huge way now for CTE. Start making some distance against the other teams that are underneath them in the overall leaderboard.
As we take a look at the top performers too right here, Cruel Buckle was giving it to them with 6 KP here too. Guardian Angel helping them out, Jay with 1 revive here. Warlord as well as Cruel Buckle with the 1.9k damage. Even being able to follow up here and get the 5 assists from CTE. So with CTE basically taking all this up here after taking that first game.
Yeah, I forgot for a moment that that's the name of the title, Wingman, not the weapon. I was like, oh, he got 5 assists with the Wingman. That's nice. Weapon meta's starting to change, maybe. No. No one's using the Wingman right now.
No, it's actually all the R9 after that first game, which I think is very interesting. We're still seeing a shift away from what we had witnessed within P20s, now seeing the R9s getting 28 kills in the whole lobby after that first game. It's been great, aside from that and the legend compositions that we've been exposed to. No more Alter, and we'll see some more action for game number 2 on the other side of this break.
Being called a prodigy isn't easy. The pressure, the expectations. I'm just kidding. I was born for this. And yeah.
The future is here! Are you ready?
I've got endless determination, a lifetime of practice, and a total lack of media training.
Success, it don't come overnight. Just watch me put up a fight. Locked in, I'm feeling cold as ice.
Let's move.
I don't know how to slow down.
Found my target. Time to say ciao.
Doing work on a holdout. It's looking like it's a blowout.
More eyes on you means less on me.
Putting in audio with top. Making my way up to the top.
Sing it out.
The first in line, the next in line. I can't deny I've been.
I'm in the games, I'm on your screens, and now I'm on billboards? Check this out. Que figata.
It's looking like it's a blowout. Putting in audio with top. Making my way up to the top.
Coming in hot.
The first in line, the next in line. I can't deny.
Later, champ.
Here I go. Do it again. Surprise. Woohoo! I didn't know I'd end up here, but I do know how it ends.
Yeah,
I've heard losing builds character. Let me know how that goes.
been waiting my whole life for this. Yeah, been getting so right for this. Hey, been waiting my whole life.
Hey, ragazzi, we did it.
Pay attention.
Welcome back, folks, to the LGS. Game 1 wraps up with CTE on top. 100 Thieves had no idea what was going on with that. But you know what? Neither did we. This is a team we highlighted earlier on, Vicky, and now they've shown why they were highlighted. What a performance. Cruel Buckle leading the lobby with 6 kills to start. And it's worth taking a look at that again. I know you cast it, but walk us through how they were able to close that one out.
Well, what we saw from 100 Thieves was they were trying to send it, I believe it was onto Fusion, our third placing squad after that first game. And just looking at their positioning, they decided to play for second, knowing very well that CTA was going to just walk up and get that third party. But looking at the action that led up to that here, Fusion in that position that they were holding over to that western side that we were talking about before, playing off that low ground could be very difficult, especially if you're stuck outside of that zone after you exit out of those zipline buildings. And then most of the chaos for a zone like this just ended up with teams collapsing on one another from the east side of Atmo Station.
So much damage from Cruel Buckle and squad. You can see why. They have the high ground. They force everyone else to fight. 100 Thieves and what I believe might be Fusion going back and forth. Yes, that January, Kim Chi trying to take on Verholz and Jim Burton and Phony, and then Chase Mob with the confidence of a seasoned vet just sliding down and saying, this is my town. Don't try to come up here. Again, Broken Moon sometimes is the conversation for that one. It's a difficult map. Some of these rotations, I mean, despite, even with having Alter, are very, very difficult. Vicky can throw some people off. But CTE, you cannot deny the need for results right now because they are in a position in, I believe, 22nd place overall, where they're not even qualified for the regional finals next week. They have to earn their spot to play next week, but then they also have to earn their spot if they want to the regional to obviously the playoffs, which still is possible here, Vicky. It's not like they're playing for something that's out of reach.
They would have to go absolutely insane. But if you're going to start off our series today, like game number 1 with 12 KP and a dub, then that is definitely one way to keep it going. And as you mentioned, being on that cusp, right on top of Omit on the 22nd spot in the overall standings, they're not just fighting for the opportunity for that playoff spot. They're fighting to even stay in the Pro League before they inevitably could get relegated if they don't perform well here.
Feels like there's pressure on both sides as we get into game number 2 on Broken Moon, trying to avoid relegation, trying to make it into next week to stay alive. And of course, if they can perform next week, if they get there, there is a chance to be in that top 16. Right now, currently separated, let's see, by about 17 points from 16th place right now, which is held by none other than Fusion, who is in that skirmish. So you got a team trying to claw in, you got a team trying to stay in. 65 is the magic number, as we heard, and that would require a pretty big performance. Not only a win, but maybe a little bit of luck as well. CTE up on top, 2,400 Thieves right behind him, and Fusion in third as we look to land and follow along as you see Chase Mob, Jay, and our winning team starting to loot up.
5 different teams rocking the Ash, Catalyst, and Newcastle composition, with Ash being the most picked legend within game number 2, with 15 players on to Ash. So kind of different, opposite rotations in terms of legends, looking at the EMEA region and now Ash, where the first game we did say bye to, I believe it was Ash and then Alter, kind of doing that little flip here too. So CTE coming off of that dub, not one of the teams rocking that Ash into Catalyst and Newcastle. Instead, still opting here to look at the Sparrow, where a lot of teams, it's one or the other, right? You're either comfortable on rocking the Crypto, or you're going to have one of your teammates on that Sparrow.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. I totally agree with the Crypto or the Sparrow. Such great recon legends. I love Sparrow's introduction, already finding some value early on. But I like talking in EMEA about how the impact for looking at what Zuni said worked for them was the fact that they didn't play Fuse, and having Fuse get banned out in game 3 really opened a lot of stuff out for them. You know, when you are kind of putting lineups together that are not dependent on a few of these legends that have a ton of oppressiveness, and other teams are, well then, okay, you take the Fuse away, you take the Newcastle away. What do you do as a result of that? A lot of teams now scrambling, trying to mimic that same level of aggression that they had with that Fuse lineup. It's not going to be there. There's really not a lot of legends that can throw 75,000 grenades at you in 2 seconds, and that's the beauty of Fuse, but it also means that they're going to almost be having a little bit of a crutch going into it. Teams that can play consistent around it going to be huge, as we take a look now at not only the legends and the compositions for our teams here in match 2, but where the zone looks to be pulling, and Terraformer looks to have a lot of action already.
It does. That's LG's POI too. So they've already situated themselves in the middle. Looks like they really only had a survey beacon here, unless Villainous's names or VP's names are overlapping over by a ring console here. But just being able to hold this spot, and I really like the conversation that you're bringing up, Rain Day. I could honestly talk about legend comps and just thinking about the different meta and how that's going to benefit different teams forever. But looking at this fight that's happening right now, CTE, the team that just won game number 1 in a very explosive way, are currently looking at Unleash. Luckily for them, on their 6th, they are safe exiting out of cultivation for now. 100 Thieves could opt to rotate from there after they scanned a survey beacon, understanding who's going to be waiting for them on that next circle pool. NRG now sliding in. All eyes on NRG, who have been phenomenal, with Timmy going to be able to get that finishing blow. Until Artiki here, and Energy just still trying to chase down that one last player who is literally one shot, who just popped the shield bat for one here. The Ash dash to get out of trouble. No chasing down here for Timothy, as VP now with just Lou alive tries to clutch it out. He had to reload the P20s. Oh, that is always the worst feeling when you lose a fight because of something like that. But of course, in the heat of the moment too, sometimes you've already expended both your weapons and you have no other choice here. Great clutch coming in as Dynasty wins that trade.
Super unfortunate there for the reload on the P20s. I mean, one of the weapons that rarely needs a reload, has so much ammo in there, and feels like fires forever. Some bad timing on the way for Virtus Pro. They'll be climbing back into it as well, sitting in 11th place right now overall. NRG, who we saw before that, sitting in 4th. So the experiment has worked out for him. It's been great to see the way this NRG squad has just been, to me, you know, kind of a revelation in this North America, in this overall, you know, ALGS conversation, as Timmy has kind of found his wings. I don't know if that's to do with him skydiving with the Red Bull squad right before, or, you know, something else, but he certainly can fly, and they've flown to the top of the leaderboard. I expect them to have a good contest here, Vicky, heading into not only this game, but for the overall split leaders, as they're only 13 points behind Falcons right now.
I guess that means that you could fly too, Randy. I know you met up, you know, or Timmy up in the skies. I'm just saying, you know, where we landing, I guess, at that point.
Sure, yeah. All that's true.
Yeah, the different POIs that you can find at your feet, as Team Orchid now looks for nice timing on the Q there to avoid the EMP and to allow him to reposition here too. Rambo does have that cat wall available to him. More squads now looking to see if this building is free for them. Cat wall is going to say otherwise, though. Cat barriers over the doors, what I meant to say here. Look away, though, and you talk about the grenade arrows. Oh, look at his health! After getting stick initially, literally leaving Rambo 1.
And I'm not a big fan of those grenade arrows. One of the only interactions, I think the only interaction we've ever seen Apex produce where a character changes the way a weapon fires from an actual damage and, you know, utility standpoint. The only other character that has something close in their kit is Rampart with LMGs, but really not something to the sake of, like, it does an explosion after you shoot it with Rampart. So that's really something that Sparrow brings to the table, has not been utilized. It's a fine line to balance the Bocek bow. It came out, it was a monster. I mean, OP beyond OP, got reduced into, you know, a lot of nothingness, kind of found its way in and out, became a care package weapon, and now has been put back onto the floor after a long time in that package with what was a bit of a lackluster entrance. It got buffed right afterwards, increased some damage on those explosive arrows when they stick. And you could see, well, maybe that's just the right spot, as it was certainly deadly in that situation. Still, Lapharos favoring the G7 and the 30-30 over that, Vicky.
I'm a big G7 fan, although in my heart of hearts, we've already seen why the 30-30 is as strong as it is. As we talk about it, 30-30 in the distance, just ringing your ears here. But the G7 being one of the weapons I actually learned how to play Apex Legends with, really putting itself here consistently within the weapon meta when it comes to certain long-range weapons, depending on which attachments are in rotation too. I'm thinking specifically of like the longbow right now, the skull piercer. It's a strong weapon too, depending on what other weapon loadout you may have available to you, or if you're lacking on any ammo. Bocek being another one of those weapons here. As Sang from Omit, one of the teams rocking that Sparrow. Arcan looking ahead, still sticking to the Wraith. It's a little slow here, of course, after understanding where these zones may be pulling.
RKN resurging back with a new version of Omit, which has been great to see. Had a little bit of a run in the open. Can they continue it now? CTG under pressure. Lot of congestion over near Terraformer as well. CTG and Citadel going against, obviously, Sentinels there. NRG have a chance to try to poach that. Fury is still hanging. Our winners of game one, CTE on the Northwest, Vicky. But how is this looking for you top down as we head into our ring 2 close?
Well, I'm looking at Sparrow just litter all over a broken mood right now, but it's to be expected with the amount of Sparrows that we have currently in this lobby here and the way that LG is still situated in that middle part of Terraformer. Still putting in some pressure looking at Villainous and Team Orchid, and Shopify wrapping around, going from inside the zone closer to that southern rotate as a pathing to go through Northern Atmo Station, probably trying to prioritize objective here, but 100 Thieves, they're going to be able to get a scan on the circle beacon. If they get a scan on the survey or even see Shopify in the distance, this is going to be a fight that Shopify are going to have to wrap left for here, and it's going to be inevitable with 100 Thieves also having the crypto from Phony.
These are two teams that actually fought against each other before. It was 100 Thieves and Shopify Rebellion in game number 1 that went up against each other, kind of setting up for another battle between these two juggernauts. 100 Thieves trying to continue on. They had a kind of a lackluster, I would say, second half of the split after a very exciting open. They qualified with the results from there. Now they've had a 5-point match day and a 7-point match day. This is their last chance to put it all together. On the flip side of it, Shopify Rebellion won their next match day, got 3rd place in one of them, and then, of course, was able to get a 6th in this last one. So both teams coming off kind of a meh match day, trying to really stake their claim for maybe first place, top 5. But Sentinels now in the throw of things. Carter taking a little bit of damage, bounces outside, Vicky.
Lutter also popping a shield back, but it's Riley who needs the most help, who needs more cover fire here. Lutter's going to be able to send out that knuckle cluster to just cut off that rotation if they have to navigate their way back down the stairwell. Here comes Carter to help hold the angle for him. Gets the knock. They do lose out on Loader because Riley cannot engage in this fight as he was also low. Doesn't get rid of the spikes. Realized having to divert their attention over to the left side. And then in the distance, a charge rifle? I think that may be Habino over in the far distance here too, but Riley says, all right, well, I'm getting griefed by another team. I won't be able to get to the rest of my spot or even engage before they reset, so now I'm forced to back away.
Very tough for Sentinels. They're on the wrong side of this engagement. Not only are teams looking at them, the zone is moving in for ring 2. And they've still got Citadel Gaming to go through. It's going to be a long one for Riley. He's going to have to wrap around, maybe try to find some respite on that southeastern side. Easier said than done, though. Citadel Gaming happy to just come out of that one with all 3 characters alive.
Launching this location.
I see here too.
Here we go.
The zone closing in, right? Riley's going to be able to try to navigate away. Still going to be able to coexist with the zone being right there, but where can you find yourself other than a crevice with 2 teams looking at you across the field as we take a look at where this zone is pulling, and all gamers with the call out already finding themselves in the middle here of that next zone pool.
Great showcase of how things have shifted a little bit. Not too much. LG still in a good spot. And a lot of teams, all roads lead through them from that outside. But it's going to create now a little bit of urgency. Citadel Gaming sitting pretty nice. NRG holding the building, though, that's going to kind of be where they want to move in. There's some space near the river and the rock, but you got to make sure you're not in line of sight with Team Orchid. So if you look at Citadel Gaming and you find out their lineup with a new castle and a catalyst, they've got an option. You know, they might be able to play some of this space that's a little bit different according to, you know, our indifference in relation to a Sparrow, a Wraith, and a Catalyst coming from Team Orchid, who have to kind of hold that building. That will be interesting to see if there's maybe a little bit of space to just crank it into zone and hold it, stabilize, that Citadel is able to work with there as 100 Thieves grab the evac.
And in the distance too, by the way, I believe Sentinels, Loader coming back. That squad maybe coming out of the zone. Now looking at Team Orchid, while 100 Thieves now fly in to join in on the action. They're getting shot at by most left over to the south side, but their focus right now is to find a safe place to land because you have fights happening from every angle. Corinthians being another one here by the hazmat tunnel. CTE, NIP, NRG, 3-4 squads here collapsing on one another. CTE get eliminated. Sentinels cannot make their way outside of zone. They fall at the hands of Team Orchid, and Corinthians are looking to reset with Wands literally being one shot.
Round 3 still closing. 30 seconds left to get it done, and Wands needs this desperately. He knows outside waits for him a little bit more pain, and NRG holding that space. Sykes with a new castle shield in front of him, and Kings and Wands right behind him. I don't think this is going to spell too long of a life for Corinthians E. That'll end it. And that'll bring us to 14 squads here. Now NRG, maybe the main protagonist of this zone push, as they want to claim a little bit of space on the outside of this ring. But already Arc Star is starting to fly. You're not welcome here, said the team's right in front of him. And Devotion sings the same song, but a louder tune. It turns into an Ash portal to just get back. And Timmy, can he pull off some heroics there? I don't think so, as NRG also eliminated. And the mess continues as NIP get over and Shopify Rebellion start poking at Omid.
Literally nowhere for them to be. I can't even avoid an EMP push as well. Shopify, as we take a look at a break from the All Gamers versus NIP exiting out of the hazmat tunnel, we come right back around. Love that from our production. Zap dropped down here, literally one shot. NIP move up. Vane's gonna be able to safely pop that shield bat. And in your feed, Shopify are able to get that knock onto Sang, and McLovin getting that knock onto Drop.
Karev on the Sparrow. There's the Stinger Bolt as well. What a good ultimate. Level 3 makes a big difference in that one. Shopify Rebellion, though, say a Devotion, that's no problem. Tracking almost perfectly Koifel there. He misses a few shots that would have broken the shield, but Koifel holds that door, realizes it's getting blown up anyway. He backs off, gets the shield back, ready to go. Shopify Rebellion now. Empty with the bow check bow, trying to sling a couple of shots away, and Arc Stars as well. Awope, not safe for him behind the rock. That looks like it is one that's destined to fail, but Furia here doing everything they can to get in the conversation. Only 2 points, and a Devotion from that far, well, it's gold. Boy, oh boy, those things handle well from distance, and you can tell Nox, these pros, they understand that that is the weapon to be playing with here.
And with that EMP too, Furia now back away after assessing the situation that was happening inside with Shopify Rebellion, but they're getting pinged in the distance by Most Love, who have been ignored until now. They walk up, Motherload called in, Keon is one, cannot get away before the rest of Most Love now move up, and they lose out on Lazar, with Shopify actually kind of helping out Furia here, because very little cover unless you manage to try to climb up and get out of the LOS of the team that is shooting at you from the low ground there.
Keon might have just bought a little bit of time. Nox gonna have to go big here. They brought him on the squad for this!
Oh.
And that's where he earns his paycheck. Can Furia stay alive, though? It's madness now as the IGL is gonna have to play big. Somebody said he sounds tall. Well, he's gotta play tall right here and stay alive. Koifel, however, gonna be a very, very tall opponent as well to go against, especially with a Devotion in his hand. That is it for him. His Team Orchid still in the fray. Rambo, we've seen him do it once before. Can he do it again? He cannot. And that will be the end of Orchid as Citadel Gaming clear that side and hold on with dear life to the northeast side of this ring.
And a little bit of griefing too. You can see on your feed from Villainous before they try to take the fight versus Citadel. AG2 still playing off that low ground, still looking at the team that is right next to them between Villainous and NIP. It's a fight that's been going on for the last minute and a half now, and it's still happening with Skittlecakes being on that crypto, still getting a scan to get information while being invisible.
All gamers. Zap dropped in Skittlecakes. You may not recognize the org, but you're certainly going to recognize the players. They're sitting in 6th place, 71 points, with a possible 97 as the leader in Falcons in terms of topping North America. So sitting just a little bit under what is possible here to be the best. They are certainly performing well, and they've got a nice low ground spot with some wants and fits ready to go. LG shooting. Nocturnal joining the squad. He's firing down on Kimchi. Fusion avoided with the catalyst wall. Nocturnal forced away. LG stay alive to fight this. Everyone trying to find the right target. Vicky seeming a little lost. Do I play low ground? Do I try to peek? Do I try to poke? And sometimes you get it wrong. Well, that's the result. You go down.
What? Wait a minute. And then 100 Thieves getting that Hail Mary res here too, seeing if they can survive with the zone now closing in behind them, losing out on Naughty and Shubi. LG only having Nocturnal to stay alive. Of course, it's the Ash player who manages to dash away. Fusion still alive here. Shopify Rebellion get eliminated. 5 squads left.
Huge moment for January. You know that Fusion need this win. They've got to find a way to get in to the zone. It's just up to Dan Mantic. It's not looking good. And it's not looking good for Villainous either. They cannibalize each other's chances. And sometimes that's what happens when you leave it all up to one last day if you want to qualify. It's pain for both those squads who could use the points. But NIP up on top. Kurev, Vayne, and a Stinger Bolt that's destroyed thanks to Watson. That's why she is so good to counter Sparrow. It's not one of those things you're going to bring out just for the case, but it's a real nice asset alongside the rest of the kit. Another Catalyst Q destroyed as well. That Watson getting so much value with her pylon.
It's the beauty of these counter picks right before you even load into the game, but NIP still have that positional advantage over by high ground. Kuriv is trying to take a different angle, and he gets beamed. LG now showing up. Zapto gets called out by the crypto drone. He's forced now to reposition, as All Gamers are now still playing this out as a duo. One member of All Gamers being in that middle console here, while Zap being over to that left, that bottom left side.
It's going to go down as a mistake for Kurev. It could definitely happen a couple times. You learn that combo. You learn the counter to it. But that is too valuable of an ultimate, staring down at a team in basically just a valley by themselves to waste without trying to get rid of that ultimate first. It was just an overstep. Things will happen. What can he do? Well, Kurev responds with a kill on the Zapto. It seems like they're going to go down anyways. And the good news is he's chosen 3 of them. So he's actually got another one to spare. Opting for the multiple but smaller ultimates. And that's going to be the big win. NIP take it with ease. A little bit of Sparrow action. Said might have missed the first one, but I'll see you for round 2. Kurev certainly living up to where he needs to play.
We're talking about NIP from the very beginning, and Kuriv's mentality and getting ready for today's matches. NIP has definitely come to deliver. Already taking game number 2 here on Broken Moon, and already showcasing what they are able to do, getting a good amount of KP. And I also want to highlight, too, I believe it was Villainous that I got down with in top 5. They were popping off that game. They were lighting up the kill feed. That's another one of our squads that we highlighted that needs to do well today. I think they finished with like 13 KP.
Yeah, I mean, Villainous is in 18th place right now. Fusion is in 16th. For those trying to keep track of all this stuff, you know, top 16 are going to go to midseason playoffs. That's a trip over to EWC, and that's a big, big deal. But top 20 are going to make it into tomorrow. So Villainous, you know, with Team Orchid behind them, with Citadel Gaming behind them, with Luminosity Gaming behind them, those are 3 teams right there that have a better day than you, and they're jumping you almost in those statistics. It is not that far-fetched to think the Villainous know if we don't perform today, we may not even make it to regional finals. So a big moment for them. Kind of cut short a little bit by Fusion, but they, you know, will be happy with the 5th place as well. Vicky, as NIP take the top spot with 22 overall points. Villainous right behind.
We highlighted that Villainous had no issue getting into the late game. Yeah, they didn't get the dub, but so many different second place positioning, and as well as getting KP. Now we're showing, or we're being showcased, that Villainous has the potential to get the KP that they need. And now, on top of that, the placement here after that game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, 2nd place overall in the lobby in terms of points. That's really what you have to pay attention to at the end of the day. You know, 2nd place in the match does kind of tell a little bit of a different story, but it doesn't matter. They were able to get it done. Bucks, Gyozi, Cheekies, you gotta love it. And they are certainly playing like they have something to play for. Overall, Kurev, Vayne, and McLovin continue to be a threat. CTE stay on top after that big win in game number 1. NIP right behind them as they command game number 2. Vicky with 100 Thieves, Fusion, and Villainous here in our top 5.
And LG being able to sneak even extra points right there too allows them to be in that top 28th spot if they want to compete in the regional finals, but they want to get more than that rain day. We have to see what they bring to the table for game number 3 as we move on to Broken Moon on the other side of this break.
さあ復活のクレイジーラ君チャンピオンなるか。
さあリブー
三
ト
井どもえの対決ではありますがリブート
CR はうまくキノトロップの上取り切りましたね。
キノトロップとのファイトになります。落としている。しかし一時交換。さあキノトロップに対して
1v1 ですかね。
1v1 のファイト。さあクレイジーラ君キノトロップが勝ちにはそこを取り切ったレブ。立体的に車線を伸ばしてきています。ドスコインパクトが先に倒れます。残りは怠惰蘇生に成功しますがサクと2枚です。 3v2 サクが落とされて残りは 2v1 挟み込みました。エンターフォース36。
早めにリドル取り切りたいですねエンターフォースは、
2チームずつリジェクト RRX エンターフォース36。ただメルトして落ちる RRX が射点が取っている。リドルオーダーがこれ全滅です。ただエンターフォース36まだ3枚生存しています。リジェクト1枚打った RRX 全滅。さあここは最後エンターフォース36。そして残りは2チーム。
エリアはキノトロップが圧倒的有利ですね。
はい。
ただボルトが落とされている。
ただここは TI あるか。
2v1 ですが TI の方が
体力状況が
体力少ないですね。
芳しくはありません。ただキンヘルがここで生きたか。2枚で襲いかかります。 TI 見事なチャンピオン獲得。7レも伸ばしている。01松崎横に展開していきました。ジュスナがそこを見ている。リドルオーダーが先に倒れます。残りは3部隊。エンターフォース今日本日3度目のチャンピオンに大きく弾みをつけている。残りは2部隊取り切りました。エンターフォース
下側全部キープしたいところではありますね。
はい。 TI エリアが狭い。先に出る。しかし上を取った。リドルと TI が当たるか。下にいるのはクレイジーラク。
一気に降りてくるとかなりごちゃごちゃになる可能性が高いです。
リドルはアーマー状況が良くない中で TI とのファイト。
セナと CR がだいぶフリーになってますよ。
さあリドルが先に落ちました。さあ落ちてくるところクレイジーラクーンが取り切った。
Sony InZone, the official monitor of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Welcome back, everyone. NIP coming off of a fresh win as I welcome back Jamerson. It's been great action all the way around, but also some surprising underperformances from squads that we were expecting to be pretty consistent within 2 games back-to-back were not, and that squad specifically for me, Jamerson, is VP.
Yeah, in particular, you know, VP is a fantastic squad when it comes to zone pulls coming their way. These 2 last games had zones that they should have had priority on, but they seemed a little bit slower on the rotate. In the first game, when it did pull down all the way to Atmo, they had a decent spot. They were doing a great job of really keeping that side of the zone clear. Unfortunately, a lot of teams did end up rotating into them. In the second game, I don't know exactly what happened to them there, but not being able to convert. They usually get top 5s when they get zone pulls like this. It's not, of course, zones landing on top of them. That's where they have like almost like a 90% conversion rate. But yeah, regardless though, they're still sitting in the middle of the pack right now, 11th overall. So this isn't the end of the day for them. I think Stormpoint is where we're really looking for them to have a standout day. But for other squads, I mean, this was a great moment for NIP. Again, it's weird to say that they're middle of the pack team right now because they are 9th overall, but getting this win will definitely cement them in the top, I think, 5 if they have a really good day today.
Yeah, you know, what really helps in all of this, too, is the fact that the other remaining squads in this lobby, the other 2 squads, where I believe one was a duo, the other one had, oh, actually, both squads, I think, were a duo at one point here, too, right? So NIP not only having the high ground over AG, but not even giving up that space just in case. LG still having that one member over to the other side here before all gamers had gotten out. But NIP still holding their positioning, just waiting for the rest of these games, for the rest of the lobby just to go to them before finding that last straggler from LG.
Yeah, NIP were able to take that northwest position very early on, and then AG moved in with that Watson composition, playing into that crevice, right? And we've seen similar areas like that across different maps, right? If you're looking at Harvester, right, there's a spot like that where you play into the crevice. You're basically playing for second at that point. So AG understood what they were in. For LG, they were just hoping that there were trades at all, right? Nocturnal was just watching consistently, waiting for a trade, but nothing ever happened. But luckily for him, he was able to at least survive until top 2 for LG. And these are all very consequential moments. In particular for LG, they were sitting in 21st, but they're only leading CTE and OMG at the beginning of the day by 1 overall point. And right now, OMG have been slowly adding on the points game by game. CTE with that win in game number 1 make things very scary. So even though LG kind of sneaked their way right now into 20th overall, there's still so many teams behind them that can catch up. Unleashed, Leave No Witnesses, Corinthians, even Most Loved are all within reach if they can win on the day of overtaking so many of these squads.
Yeah, if I was LG right now, I'm looking at Omit and I'm sweating up a little bit, trying to memorize exactly where they land here, making sure maybe depending on these circle pools, cut off their rotation. But first off is at hand is NIP currently after their last win are going to be able to get information on where this next zone pool is too. And considering the fact that they're already here on the edge of that zone here, and have too much of an issue.
Face to face, who's winning that battle? I was just scrolling on YouTube. I seen Tim video. If y'all don't know who Tim is, he's one of the sources to go to for buffs, nerfs, season, anything Apex wise. So pulled up, saw his video for the tier list. We're gonna check it out, see what he got going on. I just pray that my boy Caustic and Sparrow is up there like A tier, bro. Simple. So we're gonna just go through it right now real quick and see. I don't even play Apex no more. Y'all know me. I haven't even been playing that game, that John, in a minute for real. But I'm really curious to see what they got their tier list like. I'm really curious. I never watched it, so it's straight raw dog info. So we're gonna see what he got going on with it. Also too, if y'all don't follow the new Twitch, bro, I'm not sure what to tell you. But if you don't follow the new Twitch in like 30 seconds to a minute, it should be up here somewhere. I'm going to pull up to y'all crib with a wet napkin and smack y'all silly. I don't care if your auntie around, your pops around, your uncle around, your dad around, where your dad at, your mom's, your sister, your brother, your teacher, Diddy could be there. I don't care who's there. Y'all getting smacked with that wet napkin. I'm not capping. Hit that follow on the new Twitch, bro. All right, come on. That's what he got going on.
There's almost as many seasons as there are legends.
It's crazy. Hold on. Back it up. I know a lot of y'all don't even know what this is. Maybe some of y'all do, but from season 0, the first one way up top there, the season 0 to like season 5 was the best times Apex ever in history. Obviously, the season 0 to 4 really, but you know, those were the best times Apex history ever. Simple. Y'all don't know the real Apex. So y'all wouldn't even know. Y'all wouldn't even know what it's like to play from 0 to 1. Y'all don't even know that. Y'all never played season 0 to 2. Y'all don't even know that. When Watson dropped and her alt was, y'all don't even know that, bro. Y'all don't even know that. All right, it's bringing back memories for this is great. Yo, I'm really old, bro. Damn. That's like, imagine sitting here and really thinking to yourself, you really played season 0 and it's like season 30. You're like, damn, nigga, damn, bro. Damn, bro.
And today I'm going to be ranking all 27 legends in Apex Legends
That's
Season
crazy.
25 for
This
general
ain't so-
overall power and playability. Let's go. No legend in Apex is worthless, but some are clearly underperforming in an F tier or bottom tier. We do begin with Caustic. Caustic absolutely is not terrible, but when it comes to the general playability of the
Bro, Caustic F tier don't even make any sense. You run him on offense and run him on defense. Like what? Alright, what type of list is gonna be, bro? Alright, bro, come on. What else you got?
game, he pretty
Let's
much
hear
can
it.
be beaten out by every other legend.
Let's
This
hear
means
it.
when it does come to playing
In my personal
defensively,
opinion, I'm
gas
giving
traps,
Caustic
gas
A
grenade,
tier.
or just
Simple. He can
defensively
run the
with
O
gas traps.
and he can run the
Of course,
offense.
how
I mean
much you
defense. He
can
can run the
succeed
offense and
with
defense, bro.
really any
Strong
legend
defense,
does
strong
come down to
offense.
how
Like
you
what,
wanna
bro?
play, the
He
mode
can
you're
hold down
playing,
buildings.
the
Like
playstyle
what?
you are trying to achieve. So
He
if
can
you are only playing ranked,
get teams
Caustic
picked
is
up.
one
Not
of
to mention there's no more
F
DG
tier
threats,
plays
so he
in
shouldn't really be
biggest
getting cooked
issue
like
these
that.
days
Like
is
what,
that his
bro?
gas is weak and it's easy
What?
to avoid. It's also mostly a non-factor.
This list probably gonna be based off of personal opinion, bro.
He's a legend with incredible potential, and I think a buff to Gas Daddy is gonna come sooner than later. Seer is the second F legend.
Seer.
While Caustic has some
Didn't he
great
get
viability
nerfed?
and minimum pub viability, Seer is pretty much forgettable
Didn't Seer get
across the
nerfed?
board.
Didn't Lil Nas X get seared? I mean, didn't Lil Nas X get nerfed?
Sparrow or even Vantage will be more
In my
useful and
opinion,
useful. That being said, Seer's
I think
tactical has
Seer
been
deserves an
consistent
F.
from
He
last
pooped,
season,
in my
which is
opinion. He
helpful.
literally
His ult is
trashed.
still a
That
huge
nigga
threat
is
for
not
him,
good for
and
anything.
honestly,
He gets
really
nerfed every
forgettable
season.
compared to many of the other
His
more
abilities
powerful
don't last no
Apex.
more.
If
Like
you
he
want to be
pooped.
that rat finder rank, then he has a little use via his passive, but otherwise, I would look elsewhere.
My water at.
In D tier, we're going to
Who
have
D
one
tier?
underwhelming legend, and for me, it's one of my top 3 most played legends in a previous main of mine, and this is Bloodhound. The Hound's days as the top dog recon and
Didn't he get buffed?
have been long gone for a while now, and while there are some scenarios
Isn't he an OG?
or movement speed boost in the ultimate is going to be good, there's
I feel
legends
like
that do
Bloodhound
not
deserves an A
optimize, but
tier.
much better.
Off the strength that his
Vantage
alt
brings
makes him
better
move.
passive information gathering. Sparrow has way
And
better
his
scanning
scans.
or tracking, and ballistic speed boost in his ultimate not only works for himself like the Bloodhound ultimate, but the entire team, and you're getting extra
A D
benefits
tier
as well.
Bloodhound is
This
crazy.
skirmisher we watched last season, it could have been really fun to
I don't.
run.
I'm not a Bloodhound main,
Could run the OG
but I just know
Path and Wraith. Bloodhound
real
is in
characters and what
drastic
they're
need of
supposed to
some
be
sort
at.
of buff,
This is
but for me
crazy.
personally, I hope we don't go too far into the wall hacking.
I haven't been
like
playing
we
Apex.
were
Maybe
a
I'm
few
missing
years
something,
ago.
right?
For C tier,
He's
we
only
have a few
D tier, I'm
legends who
crying.
are fine for overall
What we got?
playability, but not necessarily great. I will state that if you are a ranked warrior, this is where a few of our legends start to.
So this is a
really
ranked
better in this more
warrior?
competitive,
No, this is a.
slightly slower pace mode.
Okay, so this is a
Those of you that are
casual
not
list.
running it down in top of Masters.
That's a
or
snipe.
Red Race. A legend who saw an insane amount of competitive viability is Crypto, but for our general power list, he's a little lower for the average
Crypto.
player. Of course, it's worth mentioning now that this
This C
legend
tier,
ranking
right?
is not an ALGS comp or ranked specific.
Crypto
tier list.
C tier?
For these modes, Crypto is much
I think he's like a B in my opinion because that drone really do hit good.
the overall game, and specifically with
Okay, so you said not ALGs and stuff like that. Okay, I mean still though, Crypto in any game will rank ALGs. Like he's not. I mean,
lower peak shields and overall buffs to the assault and skirmisher legends.
I feel like his drone should circle around him by default, like on Apex Mobile how it did when you just press the button. You know what I'm saying? It just circles around him on default, autopilot moving. That's how it should be. But you know, not my game, right?
Sparrow, Alter,
I think Crypto's like a B tier though. I don't use him like that though at all, but
in a similar vein
he's fun
as Crypto,
to
we
like
also have
use your
Gibraltar.
all-in
Prior to the nerf of shotguns, Gibby was an extreme powerhouse because the meta really supported jiggle peeking through his
Is this
tactical
C tier?
zone. Of course, support legends had a lot more viability 2 seasons ago with all their buffs. Fast forward to today, shotguns are still pretty decent, but are simply just not the meta
I'm
right
confused.
now.
Why was
Jiggle
Gibby
fighting
C tier?
SMGs or the power
Fortified.
of the 20s just isn't
Fortified.
the best. And I would argue
Gibby
that the
bubble.
buff fire
Small or
rate
big.
of 8 also is
Ultimate.
not gonna really reward
Gun
that
shield.
more tactical play
Shotguns.
Gibby does bring.
HP.
Protection via that gun shield and the
Big
power of
hitbox.
force movement is a nice thing to have, but in the
How is
long
he a C
meta,
tier?
they're not
Shouldn't it be
as
like a
valuable
B,
once
A,
per
A
year.
minimum?
If
What?
you want a ranked legend, but truthfully, I would look at.
I feel like it's because Zach not on the game no more, cooking up on Gibby. Now Gibby losing his rankings. Because if y'all know Zach and Sakura Wesson, then you know.
Conduit, but unlike Gibraltar having a lot of ranked prowess, I think Conduit is a little better in the overall gameplay sense. She isn't as highly regarded as a ranked option, but for me, she is still a better.
Hold on, pause this. Am I watching this right? Is Conduit C tier? I'm so confused right now. What? Doesn't she have a speed boost movement ability? When you're behind your teammates, you automatically run continuously. On top of that, she has shields, 2 shields that she can use, ability wise, and her ult is a demon ult. Like what? I don't know.
Passive speed boost is
I'm
a nice
confused.
thing to have, although it's less
Conduit's at least the A tier, is she not? I'm confused. Potentially S? Like, I'm confused. At A, like, a C tier is crazy, bro. I'm giving her A.
To be effective mid-fight, there was a time where healing items were much harder to come by as well, and this made the ability way more
crazy.
valuable. This is not the case
She go
today.
block off areas, hold down areas. She's really a controller, by the way, with her ult. Without it,
Flush enemies out of cover.
crazy.
For a support legend to have all that support perks plus a little control in there, I think she is pretty solid.
Pretty solid, but she's at a C tier though. Pretty solid.
She's a fine pick. Our third recon legend is already here, and she's a legend that I do have a fairly difficult time ranking due to her overall versatility. This is because Vantage arguably has one of the most.
Vantage is a higher rank than Caustic, bro.
She's a recon
Be
legend
real,
with
bro.
passive to identify enemy squad
In a
status.
1v1
She
battle,
brings skirmisher capabilities through her
face to
tactical,
face,
even some
who's winning that
aggressive
battle?
plays
Vantage
through
or
her
Caustic,
sniper.
bro?
When it does come to the overall general power of the game, her passive and even
Who's
tactical
winning that
output
battle?
is
Caustic
also
or Vantage on a
respectively
1-on-1
enough to
close
really be
range?
considered top tier. If you are playing ranked, always having a sniper
Alright.
in reserve is amazing.
Obviously,
This
it's
is
Caustic.
especially true when there are so many 30-30 and G7 users these days. You can really
She's only ranked higher because she got more movement.
So
She
for ranked
gets
Apex, she's like a mid A tier legend, but for everything else, Vantage just does not bring quite enough that Apex players are going to really need to excel at the top of the game. As we move into the tier of the great legends, be sure to hop into my community Discord to find others to play with, as playing with randoms kind of stinks. Next up is B tier, where we actually have more legends than usual. The drastic change to the TTK and the overall legend meta of Season 24 has kind of made many legends not necessarily worse, but much less competitive than the. Off the great tier of legends is Catalyst. Catalyst slightly edges out